you're not empathizing with the prospect. You're barking at them. You're saying, hey, parents, don't do this. Our young people, blah, blah, blah. They're not that. You're making statements. You're barking.
Right.
Okay. You're not actually saying, for instance, why do you care about this? Do you have a kid that went to college, or like, did something happen? Like, why do you care about this?
Yeah. My wife had $121,000 school debt. We're still working through that. And I work with a bunch of college students, and we are putting it online.
All right. So why doesn't the first sentence say something like, I was terrified to send my child to college because I knew that when he got out, he was going to be hit with a massive bill. But what is a parent to do? Am I supposed to tell him not to go to college? Am I supposed to encourage him to drop out?
Okay.
In fact, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
But you're just like, bark, bark, bark. Hey, parents, don't do this. Check out this fact. Your kids aren't prepared. Don't do this. Don't waste thousands. You're just pitching. You're just barking. Okay.
Pattern interrupts, but I think I could do a different empathizing pattern interrupt.
Well, it's not even just that. Like, you're just barking. Like, you're telling them what to think.
Right.
Don't tell your prospect what to think. Tell them something they can relate to, and then propose a solution.
Good.
Okay. So like, and then in the video, again, you're like, blah, 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 PDF. Oh, by the way, our coaching. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, are you giving me a PDF, or are you selling me on coaching? And then 7 things to help your student get their perfect career. What type of student? Like, in college? Like, I don't understand. Like, who are you selling this to? Who's going to pull out their credit card and buy?
You mentioned before to be targeting toward parents, because they're the ones with money. And with their parents, it's going to be 15 to 22-year-olds, kids who are mostly still staying at home.
Okay, remind me what the offer is again.
The offer is, I'm sorry, what do you mean by the offer?
What are you selling?
I'm selling my RMF is I help young adults build confidence, purpose, and a career plan for a successful life after high school.
No, I know, but what's the deliverable? Is it a coaching program or what?
Yeah, it's my curriculum through passion, skills assessments, and coaching.
What's the big promise?
Big promise is a life plan, and life plan, more detailed. I can't promise that they'll succeed in college, but I can promise that they'll have a better idea of their perfect career.
All right. So like, but what's the quantifiable end result? Is it that they will, what are they getting out of this?
Yeah, that's the tough one we've been trying to answer for a long time, but really it's confidence, a purpose, and a career plan, life plan.
Okay. But why?
To stay out of debt and to have an idea of what they want to do so they can go do it.
So this is just see what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a quantifiable, measurable end result.
Right.
Like, what is
like losing weight, right?
Well, it's not. I mean, it could be like, we'll help you identify the career you want to get into out of college, so that you can save money while you're in college and only take the classes you need or whatever. I don't know, but it's got to be something. Right. Okay. So that's like, you present a problem and then you present the solution. So, I remember the day my son was born. I was so happy, but I never thought I didn't think about that $121,000 student loan bill I would be staring at while my kid was crying his eyes out, wondering why he just spent the last 4 years of his life, grinding his way through college only to get a job that barely pays for his tuition. Right. That's when this is a real fear every parent has. And ever since this happened to my family, I made it my mission to help other families avoid this. And that's why I've put together, And I don't like, was there a result you have? Like, did you have another kid and then you did something different and they got a job? Or like, what was the catalyst that made you do this?
I've been working with young adults for about 10 years, and I started seeing all these students just jumping up in the careers with their confidence. And so we started the
All right. So
nonprofit.
then that's when I decided to make it my mission to make sure this didn't happen again. And I became a career counselor. Over the next several years, we had this result. I've gone ahead and put together a great PDF that I would love for you to download. And it's 7 ways to make sure your child finds their perfect career after college. Now, are you promising anything about not being in debt?
No, I can't really do that.
I mean, so then what's the purpose of the program? Is it just to, I mean, you can't just say, I'm going to give you confidence. That's not enough. Like, you got to have something tangible.
Right. Ever since we've done this, it's been hard to find that. It's hard to quantify what we do.
So create something that's quantifiable. I have this conversation a lot with people. They say, well, my offer doesn't have anything quantifiable, so I guess I'm just screwed. I say, no, create something quantifiable. Like, create an element that is quantifiable.
Like, most of our students will leave our program with an affiliate marketing business. A lot of them leave with more money per hour in their jobs.
Wait, go back.
Better job.
Did you say affiliate marketing business?
Yeah, we give them like just general ideas of how to do that. We give them workshops.
What does that have to do with career planning in college?
But it doesn't necessarily have to do with college. It has to do with careers and getting out there, learning about online marketing.
Okay, we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden a rock appeared, and we just took a hard right and went off the path, and we're barreling down the side of a cliff right now. How did we go from kids in college career planning to an internet marketing business?
Well, I'm brainstorming quantifiables.
But that's completely unrelated. That, like, let's teach a basketball player how to cliff dive. Like, who cares? Like, that's not even remotely related. Like, they're two completely separate worlds. Like, so for instance, what do they call that department in college that helps you find a job when you're done? What is that? What do they call that? Is it called career planning or job placement or something like that?
Job placement, yeah.
So I would say, like, the biggest mistake, like, here's the biggest mistake parents and college students make when graduating from college. They believe that if they go to college, work hard, and graduate, they can then have a meeting with their career or their job placement counselor, get a job, and life will be grand. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is. In fact, the real secret is to plan from the moment you take your first class. And then maybe there's a statistic or something like so many % of college students that get jobs when they graduate college got so by planning and pursuing those careers before they ever graduated. In fact, in their freshman year, something like that. Download this guide, right? And then your offer is basically like this career planning thing where the goal is to secure a job or secure more interviews by the time you get out of college or even before you get out of college or something like that. It's right. Like advanced, you can't like, and then you could also throw rocks. Like, you could say, you got to remember these career planners, they work at the college, they're paid a few dollars an hour to do this. They're just running through the motions. There is something better out there, and yada, yada, yada. Career counselors or even a career coach or something like that.
Right.
But you can't just say like, hey, I'm going to give you skills. Like you, and again, if you're selling a $10 course on Udemy, fine. But if you're selling a high ticket course, the number one thing that makes that all high ticket programs have in common are they have a measurable, quantifiable end result. And there is a way to make it measurable on almost every offer. Okay. I mean, like, let's say you're selling a personal improvement offer, right? You could literally give them a worksheet to fill out about how happy they are in multiple categories in their life at the beginning of the program. And at the end of the 12 weeks, they fill that same sheet out again. And now they can see how much happier they are.
We have that. Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to do it. It's just, you have to frame it. You have to present it as a quantifiable end result. And now you can
many of our assessments can be done twice. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, yeah. So something like that. But that doesn't solve your problem here. And your problem here is this shit's you're barking. So the main things are you're barking, you're not empathizing. You're talking about two things instead of one. And you're not quite clear on the actual name of your, well, let me see. Some things you need to understand to get your perfect career. Again, 7, I mean, you could do like 7 mistakes, 7 avoidable mistakes that parents and students, or I don't know. I said one earlier that sounded good, whatever that one was.
7 ways to make sure your child finds a perfect career after college.
Yeah. See, that's more specific than this. 7 things to help your student. To me, this sounds like it's going after teachers.
Right. Yeah. A lot of parents call their kids student, but yeah, I think that's.
I wouldn't call my kid a student. That's just weird. I'd call him my kid. I wouldn't call him my student. That's just odd. My parents have never referred to me. When I went to college, I've never heard anybody refer to their kid as a student. I mean, at least in the like, I just have never heard of that. I mean, maybe some do, but I don't think when someone's scrolling on Facebook, they're going to resonate with that. They're going to be like, hey, my kid or my child or my, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because this to me looks like it's for teachers.
Sure.
Not, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to, so there was, I used to work for this company called Twin Towers Trading, right? And it's the same company that you remember Billy Mays, the pitchman?
Yeah.
So he got started by working for this company. And this is where like his start happened. And by the way, he was an asshole and a cokehead, in case you were wondering. Anyway, so this is where he got started. And I met all the guys that helped train him and guys like him. And I actually got a job as a pitchman. I was selling pots and pans at fucking Sam's Club. It was a terrible job, but, and I had to do this pitch, sort of like a webinar every day for 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was the job. And I remember when I was getting trained by my sales trainer, and it was this guy, he looked like Santa Claus. But I remember one part of the pitch, the whole concept of the pots and pans was that they were made of titanium and not Teflon. And so, you know, when I did my pitch, one of the main things was to make sure that they understood it was titanium cookware and not Teflon, because that was what the pitch revolved around. Teflon's bad for you. It causes cancer, blah, blah, blah. This is titanium. So what ended up happening was and he kept saying, like, you have to keep saying this. You have to say it this way. You have to say it over and over again. And so as I'm doing the pitches, I'm thinking to myself, these people aren't idiots, right? Like, I've said this 20 times. They've got to know that I don't have to say it this much. So I started doing that. And at the end of each of the presentations, I would always say, does anyone have any questions? And every single fucking time, some idiot would raise his hand and say, is it Teflon? Right? And I'd be like, no, it's not. I just fucking for 45 minutes told you it wasn't. And so I went to my sales trainer about this. And he goes like this. He leans in and he says, Dan, he goes, let me tell you something that it was all Yoda and shit. Like, he's like, do not give people credit for intelligence they do not possess. And basically what that means is assume that everyone is a fucking moron, because really in reality, everyone is a fucking moron, especially when they get on a computer. All like if you're talking to someone in a personal conversation, fine. But when someone's standing and watching a speech, when someone's on their computer reading a news feed or watching a webinar or whatever, it's like all common sense immediately leaves their brain. Every human being, seriously. And it is the truth. Whether you want to argue with it or not, you want to call me for calling it out, it's the way it is. Everybody becomes completely just mind numb when they get on a computer, when they watch TV, when they assimilate any pre-prepared information. It's just the way human beings have evolved in this day and age. And so when you are talking to your prospects, you cannot assume that they know this, they know that. You have to like basically pretend like I'm talking to an idiot. And it happens to me too. Like I'll be on a webinar. I'll be like, oh, let me check out this guy's webinar. And I'll watch it. And then this thing will happen and I'll be like, I'll like find myself processing information being an idiot as well. Like I'll be like, or like I remember I was at a conference, non-internet marketing, but a conference recently, and there was a booth going over this stuff. And I remember I asked a question. It was like a question that had been covered like 4 times. And you know, I was like, God, it's true. Like I turned into an idiot. Like, you know, it's like we turn into idiots when we listen to anything outside of a personal conversation. We just don't retain the information as much as we would in a one-on-one conversation, at least most people. And so you have to dumb it down. You have to never assume, like you have to be so crystal clear that you have to just assume that they like literally have one brain cell. Okay. And that's how you have to talk to them. And when I started doing that, like I took my sales trainer's advice, I started doing that in my pitches and I started closing pot and pan deals again. And then moving, you know, in my marketing, every time I've assumed someone knows something, people are like, what? But when I assume that you don't know anything and that you're just completely amoeba level processing in your brain, as bad as that sounds, it works because it happens to us. You know, I will watch something and be a total idiot. But if I have a one-on-one conversation with you, somebody will say like, oh, Dan's a genius. But then I'll watch something and I'll seem like an idiot, you know? Yeah. And it's just, I don't know why, like maybe it's because of all this technology that we've had in the past 30 years that's just turned us into, there's a movie called Idiocracy. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, like that shit was prophetic. Okay. But we can sit here and complain about it, or we can adjust our marketing to, you know, to fix it. And so what I'm trying to say to you is do not assume that this means what you think it means.
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep. Totally get it.
Okay. So it's like, just like literally dumb it down to where nobody can possibly misconstrue what you're saying. And I promise you it'll increase your conversions.
That's the primary issue.
I think it's a combination of that, barking instead of empathizing, and talking about 2 offers instead of 1.
Right. Okay.
But the deeper issue, which should not just be in your offer and in your webinar, but it should permeate throughout your entire messaging and marketing, is the quantifiable end result, the big promise.
Right. Right.
And even if that promise is small, like the difference between filling out 2 sheets or whatever, as long as there's some way to measure it.
Right. We got a comment on the side that says we can identify a student's aptitude. That might just be the result.
What are you going to do? Have them take the military aptitude test twice? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, there's like career aptitude tests, things like that. And that's basically what we do. I've just never thought about the word aptitude before. People like that. I
mean, I wouldn't assume people like it. Maybe they do. I would do the research on it and make sure that's a word they use.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
right.
Oftentimes the simpler thing is what it ends up being. Like when you start this program, your child likely has no idea what they want to do out when they're done with college. By the end of this program, your child will know exactly what career they want to go into, and their entire college career will be focused on achieving that goal so that they get the most out of college.
That's perfect.
Yeah. But see, I didn't use like aptitude or intelligence or any of that.
Simple words. Yeah.
Simple words. Remember, everyone's an idiot. including us.
Okay.
So, does that help?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right. Awesome, man. Cool.
Hey, thanks.
No problem.